What's up, everyone? This is BigPowner, and today I'm going to help you guys to make the most of your map farming. I'm going to start off with just letting you guys know how to get to a place where you can start making the most. If you guys have been following me from the beginning of the season, you know that you should have been rushing to get to the higher tier maps because they're the most rewarding. At tier 14, we can start getting Guardian maps, we can get all the synthesis maps. Tier 16, obviously, we have the highest chance, these are from the boss kills, of getting all of the good maps. Also doing the Blight, you want to have 13 and up is going to be able to drop gold oils, so that's super important. So getting those higher tier maps just gives you a lot more access to making a lot of currency. And if you are new to my channel, go back and look at how much currency I was able to make in 24 hours. I think I ended at like 70 exalts in 24 hours doing Xana farming for Guardian fragments, which Guardian fragments are pretty much always going to be good and running maps fast. You're going to be able to rotate this season, which is going to make that one of our streams of income, and then I'm going to talk about some of the other streams of income because that is a Xana farming. You guys can go back and watch that video and see what the ideology behind that is and how to do it. Fragment prices are about the same as they were last season when I made that video. They're probably going to go up a little bit as more people get to a place where they can actually be doing Shaper, Guardian, Shaper, Elder fights and stuff like that. Um, but they're still pretty healthy, like 40 to 60 chaos per each one, which is not a bad chunk of change. Basically, a constant currency, which that's what I really like. The things that I'm going to be touching on today are going to be things that you should be working towards in your atlas. So let's go ahead and talk about the atlas. The new things that we got the ability to favorite maps, which is a really big deal. The thing is most people do not know how to maximize this feature. So I'm going to touch on some of the stuff that I am doing to generally make my farming the most profitable, and I'll give you guys a few different options. First of all, you want the high completion. You want high completion, you want the awakener level. Why is this? Because it scales our mods, which increased chance for stuff to drop, increased chance for shaper map, elder map, synthesized maps, increased currency items, all of this good stuff. Plus, we're going to have more maps dropping, which makes it easier for us to target farm. So that's going to be a focus. You want to get as much of it done as possible. As you can see, I've got pretty good. There's a few little spots that I need to get, which there's a few that I just need to. I need to just run them. But I've been making a new build for you guys to give you guys both a mapper option and a bosser option. And there'll be some more stuff because there's a lot of cool jewels, new stuff out this season that I'm really excited for. That I hope that other followers and watchers will be excited about and will get some enjoyment out of. Also, so once you get to this point, because that should be your goal until you get to this point. I had a friend today tell me that, he took advice to farm low tier maps. I'm going to let you know right now that's a bad idea. Why is that? I've gone over this time and time again. If you're a follower of the channel, you've been watching my videos, you already understand this. But higher tier maps have higher drop chances for better rewards. On top of this, higher tier maps drop higher tier bases, which are more valuable. Low tier bases cannot have the top tier mods. So basically, a lot of your loot's going to be garbage if you're playing low tier maps. The other thing is if you're not playing high awakener level, you are not going to be getting good drops. Targeted farming is a double-edged sword, and this is one big thing that I want to touch on, and I'm going to let you guys know how it is that I'm doing it to get the most out of every single map. targeted farming means that I have to remove um, my awakener level. So if I start removing my awakener level, my chance for drops goes down, and my chance for maps, all of that stuff goes down. You see, I dropped it 1, I lost 0.5%, 1% chance for additional currency, and I lost 5% increase to my quantity. That is a very big deal because one way you could target farm, like for instance, burial chambers is probably the most popular thing right now. And the way that you could target farm that is you could do what I've done and you could have all 3 of your favorite slots set to burial chambers. You would then remove all of your other maps so that you do not have any other tier 14 maps available besides the ones in this region. That would make it so that the only tier 14s would be the ones connected to burial chambers or in the zone, and since you have a higher chance to drop ×3, that would make it so that pretty much all your tier 14 maps are going to be burial chambers. However, the disadvantage to this is you're going to have to remove multiple stones from all of these to get them all below that level where you have no tier 14 maps in the rest of your regions. This is going to be like cutting down your increases, which remember the increases to the maps, that is increasing quantity, rarity. You're not just losing your chance for Shaper Guardian maps, you're not just losing extra currency, you're not just losing all of that stuff, you're also losing the amplification of your quantity and your rarity, which if you're looking for doctor cards, you need the quantity and rarity from your awakener bonus in order to get those. So you'd be getting more maps that are burial chambers, but you'd have a less likely chance playing those maps to actually get your doctor card. You could do a combination. You could farm a bunch of burial chamber maps, and then you could beef up with your awakener level 8. You could beef up maps, and then farm for the doctor cards that way. So basically play with only that region available for tier 14 drops, get a bunch of maps, and then farm it with awakener 8. Then you'd have the best chance for the best drops. However, then you're going to be playing in this zone where I'm only getting good drops a portion of the time. This is something you're going to have to decide, but this is not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm targeting good maps in all of these zones. So for instance, in Lex Proxima, this is one of the main zones. The main thing that you should be picking is like 4 good zones that you want to farm. And you should be setting all 3 of your chances to drop on those maps to maps that you want to play. For myself in this zone, it's a tier 15 map. It's Bazaar. Why is it that I'm choosing Bazaar? I chose Bazaar because it drops cards for Exalted Orbs. It does take 10 of them, and then you get 2 Exalted Orbs, but the cards drop a lot more frequently than a Doctor card. So far, I've gotten 1 Doctor card this season, and it wasn't even from Burial Chambers, yet I've gotten a bunch of cards for Exalted Orbs from Bazaar, and it's a really good map. It's really easy for me to clear the whole map inside of the Delirium, just the regular Delirium inside of the map. So it's a fast map for me to run. I can get the highest possible tier rewards, and I have the chance for a good divination card. That is a good map. Let's talk about some other ones. Tower. Why is it that I'm choosing Tower? It is a tier 16 map that I'm farming. Some people don't know, Tower drops nurse cards. So if you're farming for a headhunter, why would you not want to have drops for the nurse? The nurse turns into doctor cards. I have gotten the nurse card from Tower, and I have not done that many runs on Tower. And last season I got quite a few the nurse cards from Tower. Even if you're not farming for a headhunter, it's still worth over an Exalted Orb per drop. So I would set all 3 to that zone also. The other zones that you're going to be choosing on, I'm doing Basilica in this map just because I really like Basilica. It's got a lot of quantity, it's really fast to clear. It's kind of just a convenience. It's just really easy for me to run. that's the reason why I'm doing that one there. Canyon, everyone likes Canyon. The reason why I have Canyon set up is because if you're planning to do group farming, Canyon is one of the most popular maps for group play because it's straight, which it's good to run even if you're not planning to do group play. Canyon is just a really good map for group play. It is I believe it's tier 15. Where are you, Canyon? It's 15 or 16. Dude, what the heck? Wait, why? Wait, what the heck? Why is it not showing up? Am I just blind? It's not highlighting it. Oh, it's it's over further. I didn't have it scrolled over all the way. Here we go. Yeah, tier 16. So that's another tier 16 map that I'm farming. Um, so this zone, I have Iceberg and Strand, just two maps that I really like. They're both really smooth maps to run. Um, so those are my choices there. I'm not farming this area as much. My main areas are the ones that I've already told you. Up here, Castle Ruins. Castle Ruins is just really another really easy map to run. Boss fights really easy. Uh, so I like that one. That's a tier 15. That is my favorite one in that zone. This zone I have not unlocked yet. However, Colonnade is probably my favorite choice there. Colonnade's really good. Another one that I don't even have yet is Glacier. Glacier is one that people really like, so that might be a good choice. But I think Colonnade's probably the better map. Shore is another really good map. These are just easy to run maps. Coves is another map that's super popular for group play. You could choose that one in this zone also if you wanted to do a different map in this zone. However, I feel like there's other good choices in this zone, so that's the reason. And Coves is a 15, this is a 16. I already have a few 15 selected, so that's kind of why when I do unlock this, I probably won't do Coves. And also the map is so small, there's not enough in it. And also how the map runs with the delirium. Sometimes if you go the wrong way and the delirium's kind of moving, you can wind up not being able to get the whole thing because it's not as laid out. With Colonnade, you can normally get the whole thing because it normally starts you close to one edge. So if before you start the delirium, you run a little bit both ways and find out which edge you're on, then you can pop the delirium, run to the back of it, and you can clear the entire map inside the delirium, which is super important if you want to be maximizing your rewards. It's another really, really good map. So that's pretty much what it is that I'm going to suggest. Like I said, maximizing what we are doing with all of our stuff. I've built up a lot of masters, and I'm just starting to use them. Xana is like a cash is like a cash cow once again, going back to last season when I did the challenge. What was going for 90 exalts, I stopped at like 70 something, but I also started just before I was going to bed, and then I wound up finishing it the next day, hitting my 100 exalt mark and getting my headhunter. So that alone is a super powerful thing, but if you don't have a ton of those, then you got to do something to build them up. And we want to put to use all of our masters this season. Alva has gotten a lot better. She's not absolutely amazing, but she does offer us a lot better than she was last season. And you can also choose things like monoliths, or you can get more map items. There is some good stuff in there. So, and because you can add masters to every single map, you know, and we're going to be getting enough of them, it's something worth using now. Jun, they made the um, the master missions better on those. You can also use her her to get white sockets, to get um, increased quality on your gear, to get all kinds of good stuff. So Jun is definitely going to be useful, and the rewards inside of her are also, you know, there's a lot of currency type items. So if you farm Jun, it is rewarding. I don't farm Jun early because when I'm building a build, the the Jun encounters are like super dangerous. So it's normally something that I start farming once I need it, but it is something good to cash in on. So once you have a bunch of those, start adding them to maps once you're able to deal with them. Nico, if you guys have been watching me, I don't really delve, so that's kind of the wasted one. As you can see, I don't have very many Einhars. That's because it's pretty much the best one to be adding to high currency maps because it's just extra monsters inside of the map. I would say save your beast editions for, like when you're doing burial chamber farming, or when you're doing your tower farming for the doctor cards. Either one, um, those are going to be kind of your targeted juice up maps. Bazaar I also juice up because, like I said, it's a lot more reliable for some stream of currency. Yes, 5 cards is 1 exalt, 10 cards, it takes 10 to get 2 exalts. It's not the most amazing drop, but you're still talking about like 25, 30 chaos every time it drops. That's more value than, pretty much any other orb outside of Exalted Plus in the league right now. So it's not something to turn your nose up to if you're farming like me, you know, then it's going to be a good thing. The other reason why I'm set up like this is because killing conquerors, if you're farming only one zone and you're doing that targeted thing, playing at a lower awakener level, um, just to constantly be able to run only one map, you're also not going to be getting conqueror kills. Even on my ice shot super early, I was doing my conqueror kills. Why is that? Because you have chance for the conqueror orbs. Those are worth a lot of currency. Like eh, some of them are like a third to half of a doctor's card, and you're going to skip out on the chances for those. The chances of a Conqueror dropping one of those orbs is a lot better than the chance of a Burial Chambers dropping a Doctor card. So I would say if you're missing out on those chances, then you're also missing out on some really good chances for currency. The other thing I'd like to say is now I plan to be also killing Sirius, which is more chances at currency. Um, and I just released a guide on a bosser, or if you have a friend that is going to do bossy killing, if you're not going to be a boss killer and you're only playing a mapper, get a friend to kill your bosses for you. Make friends with people. I'll probably start killing Sears for people on the Friday streams. So you really shouldn't be missing out on it. Everyone can make a friend. Share some loot with the people if something good drops. Don't be missing out on those chances for currency because if you completely skip out on those, it's a lot worse than if you do it with a friend and you give them even half. You missed out on that currency for them to take 5 or 10 minutes to kill it. Um, Sometimes it doesn't drop anything good. I've been having a friend kill Sears for me, and I haven't had any good drops from him yet. So it might not get you anything, but you don't want to miss out on the chances. So that's the reason why I'm doing multi-zone. I'm getting the highest amount of chances for all of the rewards for the maps, because you got to also remember every one of the Guardian maps is like 40 to 50 chaos for every single one. Um, So if you're missing out on these maps, that's a lot of potential currency, even if you're not doing the boss killing, which you should because the fragments sell for more than the maps, which, like I said, even on my mapper, I can kill all of the guardians. And if you have it in a map, then you can do it whenever it is that you want. You can also take and, make the map really easy. Like, you could run it gray if you wanted. It doesn't change the value of the fragment. So you could make it really easy if you're not playing, if you don't have a boss killer, or once again, if you got a friend that is going to be killing Shaper, Elder, Um, or, you know, well, I guess you'd be better off just to sell the map if you're just going to sell the fragment and, you know, splitting it with someone, or maybe they'll give you the fragment just to play the map. I don't know. Then you make more off the fragment and they get a free map. Um, Something like that. You can find a way to make it worthwhile. Anyways, I hope that this is helpful for everyone that is out there working on stuff. Once you do get to the end game, I will say the Blight additions, I have already farmed it, and it is super profitable. Um, the amount of Blight maps that I get for the cost, even if I was like assuming, you know, every Blight map I could buy for 24 Chaos, this still winds up being super, super rewarding. The drops inside of the, and I'm talking about in high tier maps, the drops inside of tier 14 to 16 make basically the maps become like all profit on an average, which I've done quite a few of them. So, you know, this wasn't only a couple maps. I like running the Blight maps. I have fun with them, but you could just sell them, and it is definitely a currency money maker. You could do this as an addition to every single map that you are playing, unless you're doing super juice maps and you want to do the beyond, because the beyond is going to give you the most quantity. Like if you're doing delirium on maps, like if you've added delirium with the delirium orbs, the beyond is going to be the better choice because it's going to help you reach a higher delirium level. So like if you're using the delirium orbs, you always want the beyond on there because it's going to help you reach the highest levels of the delirium rewards. So definitely don't miss out on that. To give you an idea, like beyond versus non-beyond, you're getting at least another whole tier of rewards. So you definitely don't want to be using these without beyond. If you have beyond on your map, you can run double beyond, and that'll just be even better. But make sure that you're going to be strong enough to kill whatever level of delirium that you're playing in with beyond monsters, because beyond monsters are super dangerous. Anyways, I hope that this is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Peace.